everyone, welcome to Soul Connection. My name is Maitreya and today I'm going to be talking all about the full moon in Pisces. This is probably the most magical full moon of the whole entire year, and it's probably the most important full moon of your entire life thus far. Why? Because there's so much energy going on. Saturn is going direct next week. And remember what I've been saying about Saturn retrograde and Saturn going direct? This is literally solidifying our foundations, whatever you've been building, whatever seeds you've been sowing. And this is finally the time when you can step into the best half of your life. Your life is what you make it. This full moon is just reminding us that our life is in our hands. If anyone remembers the song, is that the whole world in his hands? This is literally the time when your theme song is just going to be, I got the whole world in my hands. 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 Literally, you have the whole world in your hands. This is what the full moon in Pisces is coming to remind us, that we hold the power to create our whole lives. Pisces season is bringing back our whole imagination, and it's interesting because this full moon is hitting me on my 5th and 11th house, but I've noticed me and my son have really been connecting on a really beautiful way, and I've been paying attention to some of the programs that he's been watching, one of which he loves is Sesame Street. Imagine, it's so beautiful to bring up a child on the same programs that you watched. But on Sesame Street, they were like, imagine a car, like imagine this, imagine that. And there's been literally a war for your imagination since you left school, since probably reception. Because if you notice, when you first go into school, there's all these colors, you're encouraged to just use your mind and just imagine the most amazing things. It doesn't even need to make sense, but you're encouraged to explore your imagination. However, when you leave, it's like, come, let's learn now. And it's like after the first year of school, this is when the deprogramming takes place, and this is where you begin to become programmed to be an adult, but that adult is taking you further and further away from your inner child. And there's so much benefits that our inner child has. Cancer really knows this especially well, especially Cancer moons, like your ability to just, the things that really come to your mind is just out of this world, and it's so beautiful as well. So this is a time when we can literally create and manifest beautiful, amazing dreams. This is all about making our dreams come true. And I know that sounds really like, but if we really utilize these energies, this is essentially what can happen. These energies become worthless unless you actually use the energy for yourself. Like, what are you going to do with this energy? So let me just go a little bit deeper into what these energies are going to be bringing up for us. And if you would like a personal lunar report, and this is where I'll go through your transits for the month personally to see what's coming up for you, what are the themes that are coming up for you in this month, and what is it that you need to be focusing on to get you through to the next month, then you can hook me up. I've also got a number of other different readings over there: karmic readings, solar reports, synastry readings, progress readings. So the aim of this is not to stay stuck in our default settings in our natal chart, but it's for us to learn how to transcend that and walk into our progression and essentially just become the whole zodiac. We literally just break the matrix. That's essentially what it's about. And I'm going to do another video about astrology and how easy it is to get trapped, but how you can really use it for a self-discovery tool and a self-mastery tool, as long as you're not holding yourself to these boxes. Okay? So we're currently at the full moon in Pisces, and so the sun is in Virgo and it's now opposing the moon in Pisces. And so essentially I see this as like a kiss of the spirit realm and physical realm finally beginning to find a place to meet. Virgo is a very interesting time, as this is when the harvest moon comes, and it comes because all of the seeds that we've sown for the last 6 months, the next 6 months, we're able to finally manifest them. This is the harvest season. Welcome to harvest season. And if you haven't planted any seeds, this is the time when you probably may be crying, because you may be seeing everyone else manifesting their desires and getting what they needed, but when the time when they were putting in their work, You was just going around gallivanting, doing foolishness, not paying attention to what you need to be doing. When I was doing all of these videos, you wanted to be watching the Kardashians. And no shade, you know, sometimes you just need to ground and watch some foolishness sometimes so you can actually just, you know, get some comedy out of life or something, you know. I watched The Housewives of Atlanta, so I'm not judging anyone. But essentially this year, in fact, this whole Saturn in Capricorn season was us about really getting down and doing some hard work. And me, my God, it's so funny because I went on a course last week and it was a business enterprise course. So imagine I went on the same course last year and the woman, she was giving us these keys. And one of the women who came in to deliver one of the workshops, she was delivering something called her keys to success. And she actually had physical keys that she was giving out to people. And she allowed us to choose each key like he was choosing like a tarot card. Like if someone was actually doing a reading for you and being like, choose your card, it's like, choose your key. And it's so interesting because the first time I went, I was the only person that had one key that had another key attached to it. All of the other keys just had one key. And I thought that was very significant at the time. And the keys that I got last year was outrageous ambition. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Yeah, outrageous ambition. The second one, and the one that was attached to that, was realistic plan. Funnily enough, these two keys are literally in line with the polarity between Virgo and Pisces, because Pisces is that ability to just dream. It is that dreamer. It's like there's no limits. One of the traditional rulers for Pisces is actually Jupiter. So it's about having these outrageous ideas, these big ambitions, these big achievements that is fueled by your experiences. It's like I've experienced so much of just these cycles of life, these karmic cycles, that now I just want to just break out and I just want to break free. But then you've got Virgo, which is very analytical, it's very logical, it puts things in its place, it has a routine, it's very disciplined. So it's bringing those two things into balance where you can still dream, you can still have all of these outrageous ideas, you can still be extremely creative in your endeavors, but it's about learning how to get down to the nitty-gritty and create a realistic plan that can get you to that dream. Because dreamers don't create their dreams continuing to dream. Dreamers create their dreams by putting things into action. So that's what we want to be doing. We want to be allowing our spirit to really kiss into our body and really make that soul reconnection, that soul integration, where heaven can meet earth, where our higher self can meet our lower self, if that's what you want to call, however you want to say it. This is literally the time where everything can just come into fruition. Virgo is the virgin, it's the mother. It's the mother that's able to give birth and bring fruit that brings value to everyone else. So this is us finally beginning to really come into our fruit, come into our harvest. And even speaking of this kissing energy, this is the time where the veil is going to be extremely thin, especially as we lead into Halloween. And Halloween is literally when the veil is the thinnest. So this is where spirit literally just, everything's just merging together. If anyone has watched Coco, I absolutely love Coco, and so does my son. Definitely recommend Coco, but it even shows where the ancestors are able to come around Halloween, the Day of the Dead, and this is where they're able to make connections and see their loved ones. So this is why they actually venerate their ancestors, just to make sure that that connection is there. So things are very thin, things can get really weird, the energy is really weird, and people are literally set to flip, especially if you've got Lilith squaring the moon, I think it is. So there's a lot going on at the moment. So the whole theme of this transit, this full moon, is literally reality versus fantasy. And this is us about really looking at our desires and what is it that we want, and really being able to separate what is fantasy and what is reality, but also learning how to utilize that whole fantasy spirit to begin to draw that vibration to you of what is it that you actually want. So this is why I say your imagination is so powerful. Your imagination can bring things into being. Imagination, it's got the word magi in that in itself. Magi is a high priest. This is where the word musician comes from. This is where they mention the three magi's, which was the three kings. Jesus himself was a magi. Moses was a magi, and these were people that were able to command the elements. Moses was able to command fire and water. Jesus was able to command water and many other elements. So this is about really cultivating the magician in us and really beginning to ask ourselves, like, do you trust your magic? Do you really believe in your own magic? Do you believe that you're a magical being? Do you believe that whatever you touch can be gold? Do you believe that you're abundant? Do you believe that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to? These are the questions that you need to be asking yourself, because you need to check where you're really at. And this is really, really crucial before Saturn goes direct on the 18th of September. Please check out my Saturn videos and also the Saturn retrograde direct video. Time is up. Like, please guys, do not allow these moments to pass you by. These are really intensely magical moments. Even the fact that we had Friday the 13th yesterday. We haven't had a Friday the 13th since like October 2000. So really, just like I said in my Saturn retrograde video, this is a Kairos moment that you don't want to miss. This is like us literally stepping outside of time and literally just manipulating reality. Just because we understand that we have the power to do that. And we're going to do it, right? So this is literally about us fully integrating ourselves, our spirit, our higher selves, which we already, as I said in my last video where I was talking about the conscious community and this whole new age deception. I'm going to go deeper into that, don't worry. But it's about learning how to fully integrate yourself into your body and not trying to escape from it. Let's really throw out this whole anxiety consciousness, escape consciousness BS, because it's not serving us, okay? Pisces is literally the creator of escape consciousness because it doesn't want to deal with its reality. It wants to be able to revel in the astral. And this is the dangers of Pisces. It's that it's not about getting trapped in your imagination. It's learning how best to channel it. And learning how not to get trapped in that energy in itself. Like, again, it's like I was saying, it's about remembering that you came to planet Earth to experience Earth, to have connections with Earth, to have connections with people, to just be fully integrated into your physical reality. So if you find that you want to escape from certain things and you want to run away, especially from certain conversations as well, this is a time not to run away. It's time to fully face your fears and face everything that you've been running from and just, ride the flow. Just ride the flow, because ride the flow. We're finally in the age of Aquarius. September the 11th, 2019 is actually when the Ethiopian and the Hebrew calendar just went into 2012. So imagine that for a time fuck. And it's interesting that we have all this Saturn energy and Jupiter energy and even Pluto energy happening in all of that time, and even Uranus retrograde, because it's setting us up for 2020. So 2020 essentially is 2012. It is the shift. It is the age of Aquarius. Well, not fully in the age of Aquarius, but we can definitely feel the energies of that. So we're having to shed off this Piscean age, this thing to be extremely compassionate for people, that you actually kill yourself and martyr yourself in the process. But it's also this thing of continuing loops, continuing stories. Like, if you think about it, there's no new story. Even the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. All of this stuff keeps looping. We've got Disney stories that are just looping itself over and over again. We've got the superhero stories that are just repeating themselves over and over again. Like, all of the superheroes are orphans, and then they have to go live with their uncle, and then they get killed off Superman's uncle. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's the same stories going over and over again, and we have to make the decision that we don't want to get stuck in these stories. We want to break out of these loops, these karmic loops. And this is why Pisces has the two fishes going around in circles, because it's in conflict with itself. So get out of your own way and just fully embed yourself in this reality and stop running to escape. So that's what the new moon in Virgo was causing us to do 2 weeks ago, as we was learning how to become a bit more acquainted with our reality. But now we begin to tune into our sensitivities and then begin to notice about what we observe, about the direction that we want to go in our lives. Like this is a new, almost like unbelievable world that we're moving into. Who would have thought that we would be making these major shifts? I know that it's difficult to fully understand that, being on this side of the shift at the moment, But trust me, like when you hit 2020, you're just going to be like, wow. And it doesn't mean to say that everything's just going to fall into place like instantly. You're going to see a progress of things, but things are never going to be the same again. Just keep saying that to yourself. Let that be an affirmation. And that can be both in a positive and negative way. You choose your paradigm. This is with Saturn going direct. This is you choosing which timeline you want to be on for the next 29 years, right? And then Jupiter in the next 12 years will give you the opportunity to be able to almost barter what you want to be able to do with that energy. But you don't really want to be waiting how long to get out of this cycle? Not me. You can do that, not me. Baby girl. Don't look at your dreams as illusions because you've lost hope in what you believed you wanted to happen. But learn to exercise your belief system again. Pisces is all about that sense of faith, that sense of belief. Even if there's no physical evidence that can, suggest that that is going to happen. But just by your belief in what you believe can happen, that itself can open many doors for you. This is going to be the catalyst for you to finally experience your dreams and step into your best life. But only if you want to. This is your choice. It's all based on what you do. So while the sun, which is in Virgo, is bringing us to pay attention to our physical realities, our bodies, our physical bodies, our health, our fitness, our disciplines, our routines, our regiments, and learning how to become a bit more grounded in reality, it's currently conjunct Mars, which is currently opposing the moon in Pisces right now. So Mars in Virgo is literally all about self-improvement and learning how to upgrade yourselves. But this Mars in Virgo is probably the biggest transformation and probably the biggest upgrade you could have in your life thus far, because of all these energies that are coming up, especially all of these karmic energies with Saturn and Pluto. There's a lot that is literally just being cleared for us to finally do what it takes to upgrade ourselves. There's a dark side to this whole spirituality, self-help type thing, because this is why I say that with soul reconnection, there's a process to this thing. It starts with self-discovery, then you move on to self-healing, then you move on to self-development, and then you move on to self-mastery. But then you've got people literally jumping straight to self-development, not understanding themselves, not knowing what they're healing or how to heal, and then developing their ego and then mastering what? It doesn't make sense. So this is why we've had so much Pluto and Saturn energy, literally just, and even Neptune retrograde as well, just cutting out all of our illusions, because we just need to, this is like the big purge and big cleanse. But this whole Virgo and Sun conjunction is bringing a lot of intelligence and logic and ground to your passions and to your endeavors and to your projects and what is it that you want to do. And this can be an extremely stressful and very anxious time, because we can go a bit too far and sometimes we can literally just rip ourselves apart, being too critical of ourselves. And, but it's about learning how to literally almost turn the volume dial just to find the right balance, and just making sure that your dreams and your aspirations, they have a solid ground to give birth to your endeavors and your projects and what is it that you want to give birth to. So this is going to take a lot of hard work. Just think about it. Beyonce's a Virgo, and she's probably like the best person to demonstrate this energy. If you think about how much work she'll put into like a Coachella performance, like she goes hard. She can be extremely critical. She will be extremely critical of all the dancers and the music. Like, stop, let's start that again. No, that's not right. Let's do it again, and let's do it 100 million times until we get this right. Sometimes it can be extremely critical to the point that you want to cry, but it's all about understanding that what you put in is what you get out. And essentially what she wants is a smooth, powerful performance that everyone can just be like, wow. You can't get that if you don't work hard. So the first 6 months of this year, we've been putting in so much work, putting in the seeds in the ground, watching it grow, watering them, doing the process of cultivating our dreams. Now we're coming into the second half of the year, and this is when we can begin to see things manifest, and we're managing what we've sown. We're also beginning to find a solution through logic and assessing things and examining things through a clear mind, because Virgo sometimes can be led to anxiety. It rules the nervous system. So this is why Virgo especially, or Virgo placements, wherever you are, whatever the aspects are, that can create an anxious tension because it's trying to look too far into things without actually just being present and being like, actually, you know, that's that. But sometimes it'll just overthink things and just take things places where you don't need to be. So, you know, this is all about learning how to have a clear mind and examining things through logic, balance with your whole creativeness, your whole expansiveness, your, you know, your fearlessness, just bringing everything into balance. So we can begin to find the flaws that we have within ourselves, within our businesses, within our relationships, within our partnerships, within whatever. We're beginning to see the flaws, but it's not for us to pick it apart. It's for us to find ways to correct it, because we do have the ability to correct these things if we just look in our toolbox, you know? But it's all about correcting things rather than just unraveling things and just throwing it away. And with this energy, it's been quite interesting because everyone wants to tell someone what they're doing wrong. What do they say? When you point your finger at someone, you've got like, what, 4 fingers pointing back at you? No one looks at the 4 fingers that are pointing back at you, but they love to be able to point the finger. Mars in Virgo, in literally a phrase, is literally keep that same energy when it comes to your own bullshit, okay? This is literally criticism on steroids. All of these vegan bashers coming out of the bushes from nowhere. You didn't even see them coming out of nowhere. It's like, where the hell did you come from? No one asked for you. No one asked for you here. We was just having fun. We were just eating our food, trying to be merry, trying to celebrate, and you decided to come and rain on our parade. Why? Literally got all this fire under their ass telling people why they need to be vegans because they're killing animals, but they never ask the question, am I killing the plants? Like, because they're clairsentient too. Like, are animals and humans the only people that are clairsentient? Like, and if you are one of these vegan bashers, please just pipe the frick down, okay? Like, it's really not that deep. Just allow people to live whatever path they want to live, whether they want to eat meat, whether they don't want to eat meat. Like, I literally just feel there's a lot of misinformation about this vegan agenda, because it is an agenda. No one's really looking at it. Like, how is everyone just piping up, you know, be vegan? You've even got traffic lights saying go vegan. Why is the government pushing veganism? Why are they not telling you that there's actually a lot more people that become malnutrition from this diet? But no one wants to do that type of research. But anyway, I digress. This is about learning how to give constructive criticism rather than opinionated, you know, things that no one ever asks for, rather than trying to tear things down or just presenting opinions when no one asks for it, trying to pump your ego. It's all about learning how to be constructive in our criticism. Like, learn how to take these razor blades out of our mouth and learn how to talk like you got honey in your mouth. Like, I was given that advice in my relationship, and that was really good advice. So this whole energy might be bringing up where you feel incompetent and where you feel like there's gaps in your life. And I know this has definitely come up for me, especially in my business, because I've just been like, oh, there's a gap. How do I fit this? I'm trying to get from here. I'm like, this is this step, and this is this step, and there's a gap between this step, and I need to fill this gap. Like, what is this gap? And I've literally spent the whole of Virgo season literally trying to be like, what is this gap? And it only came to me yesterday on Friday the 13th. Don't hold yourself to it. Just push through the energy, and a lot of inspiration, especially through Mars, is going to come through, where, you know, you're just literally going to have the answers to your question. You may even feel like imposter syndrome coming up as well. So definitely don't feed into that energy. Just know everyone probably struggles with it anyway. So, and then it's like literally imposter trying to imposter an imposter. Like, let's just really learn how to really be solid in what we know about ourselves and just express it authentically. So Mars in Virgo is literally teaching us that we can make these extreme strides in our lives, but only if we have a plan in place. So, you know, we can't just allow our creativity to not be grounded in having some logical grounding behind it and some foundations behind it. And it's about knowing exactly where you're going in life, what you want to be doing, what is your 10-year plan. How many people have a 10-year plan? I literally mind mapped my whole vision yesterday and just saw it out in front of me, and that was part of my little ritual. And it was just beautiful to see, like, the vision and just seeing where I'm going. And even though it's not physically in front of me, I just started getting excited just in the vibration of what I just created just through that. And that's how simple it is. Like, anything is magical in this season. It's also about putting things in place. So with all this conjunction with the sun, we're getting a bit of a confidence and ego boost at the moment. to where we can feel a bit more confident about the changes that are happening in our lives. And it's also able to have an impact not only on ourselves, but also on everyone else around us as well. So we can choose to channel this energy correctly, and even just in how we interact with people on an everyday level as well. We also have the South Node in Capricorn that's also conjuncting Saturn retrograde right now. And this is literally where we're doing whatever it takes to make sure that we align ourselves to this shift and we don't get left behind in this shift. And we're just doing whatever it takes to make sure that we align ourselves to the role that we're meant to be playing in society. What does that mountaintop look like to you? And what is it that you need to clear to be able to get there? That's what this whole energy is all about. And we're really being tested by the lessons that we've learned thus far, just to ensure that we're removing all of the karmic debris that is still attached to us, and just making sure that there's nothing anchoring us and keeping us stagnant in certain situations. So this is like literally the last little shake-ups that we need for our transformation. Like, it's always like the universe has a pitchfork and it's like, okay, just jump off the cliff now. Like, get the fuck off. So we're just going through that whole shedding process and then just learning how to take this leap of faith. And this energy is going to be around us for a while. It's not to say that, you know, we're never going to continue to go through energies that are going to keep transforming us. That's not what I'm saying, because that's a lifetime journey. But with these intense energies, it's like, it's intense and it's sharp and it's strict because it needs immediate effects. Like, it just needs to come off now. Like, there's certain things we just need to just get out. Like, just get out that story, close that door. Like, we've just been in that process for too long. And then now we're learning how to fully integrate it into our cellular structure so that it's embodied into our DNA and our memory. Our memory is our DNA, is connected. So we're just learning how to integrate this energy into our body and into our cellular structure so that it's fully embodied in our DNA and it's ready for the next generation. Like, we are our ancestors. We are the next generation. Who makes the difference? You. You have a duty to evolve yourself, and thus you end up upgrading and evolving your ancestral line, your ancestral lineage, and the generations that are going to come after you. So we have a very powerful role. And even just with Virgo and the mother energy, a woman is born with all of her eggs when she's born. So even while she's in the womb of her mother, she's actually carrying children herself. So there's literally 3 generations in one womb. And the reason why that's important, because throughout her life, she is subjected to, and the reason why this is important, because as she has all of her eggs in her womb, her seed is also subject to the same trauma that she may experience through her life, the same limiting thoughts that she may struggle with, the same mental health conditions that she chose not to deal with. Anything that the mother experiences automatically passes down to the child before it's even born. So this is why it's important to make sure that you're working on yourself. This is why, especially women, our role is so important in society. Patriarchy will not acknowledge it, but they know what they know. This is why they created the number 13, because they wanted to hide that energy. They wanted to hide the divine feminine. They wanted to suppress it and act like it didn't exist. But we're still here. And we still have the power to, not only do we have the ability to heal ourselves, we have the ability to heal our own lineage, both past, present, and future. And we also have the ability to impact and change a whole nation. So please, like, really get into this energy and tap into that upgrade. Like, this is amazing. Like, one of the messages that I got from the ancestors was that all of the investments that they have made to us is in the ground. It's for us to begin to dig it up. But not a lot of people want to do that work. You know, they've already invested the seeds. It's for us to just go and just do the work. Like, just do the work. Everything's set up. We just need to do what we need to do now. So Mercury and Venus currently is at 29 degrees and is currently opposing the moon. That is a critical degree that it's at right now. 29 degrees is literally almost like the combination of things. It's completing things and it's moving on. So this is literally intense transformations to our mental patterns, to our mentalities. Our mind is just getting a whole big sweep, because where we're moving into, we need to make sure that our mind is in alignment, because we'll just fuck it up for ourselves. If we start repeating the same self-limiting affirmations that we were trying to clear out this whole season, realizing that we are our biggest blockage, Like, we need to begin to sweep all of that out and then learn how to begin to feed that into our relationships with others. So whether that be your personal relationships, your partner's loving relationships, your family, partnerships, business partnerships, but also with our finances, as Venus is also ruled by our finances, resources, and you should be noticing some changes to your finances, but it's learning how to really input the discipline into things at the moment. And once Jupiter finally comes out of its shadow, which it will be in until November, so even though, yes, it's out of retrograde, but understanding the retrogression motion, it goes into a shadow phase for a period, and this will be, I think it comes out on the November the 5th, I believe. I will double check that. But by then, we should feel a bit more steady in our financial endeavors. So this whole energy is literally just about psychological and physical change. It's literally all or nothing. With Jupiter squaring Mars and the Sun, it's literally about really pushing us to work for what we really desire and what we believe that we can really attain. Really beginning to sit in this feeling of this urge to expand and using that to propel you forward. Feeling that urge for bigger things, for spiritual growth, for a new world of wisdom, of ideas, of philosophies, making more money, having fun. It's really about learning how not to spread yourself so thin, because we can literally burn ourselves out in this energy. So it's about learning that you can end up not keeping on your promises because you're so exhausted. So it's about learning how to always be honest with what you can realistically do and feeling confident about what is beyond your horizons. It's about healing and understanding the process that's taking place at the moment, but it's about really beginning to see and sense your power, your internal power, your innate power. What is it that makes you magical? What is it that you have that no one else has? What are the things that is hidden yourself from your greatest power? So we're no longer in illusions to the undeveloped aspects of ourselves, but Jupiter is forcing us to look deep and wide and fully integrate this into ourselves and not run away from it. This is with all this Lilith energy as well. As I said, Lilith is all in this picture as it's opposing the moon, I believe. So Saturn is going direct on the 18th of September. And literally the message is, if you aren't willing to go all the way, don't go at all. Tap out. There's literally 16 elements in Earth right now. There's no air elements. There's 5 elements in fire, and there's 6 in water. So right now, literally just get the hell out of your head, tap into that inspiration, tap into your imagination, tap into your creative endeavors, and just bring this shit into reality. So I'm hoping this really resonated with you guys. Like, I'm so excited for what we're going to be manifesting with this energy. So until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.